Gabriel Vargas here, and tonight's top story is about cell phone overuse, or as I like to call it, electronic zombie apocalypse. Cell phones are a piece of technology that have taken over our lives. The popularity of cell phones is in full effect. It's like we're zombies, but instead of trying to feed on brains, the only feed we crave on is Twitter. Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, himself has admitted to using his cell phone too much.
Announced a tech addiction tool that will almost help us limit our screen time.
You know, we've never been focused on usage as a key parameter, and we're rolling out great tools to both make people aware of how much time they're spending and the apps that they're spending them in, but also how many times they pick up their phone, how many notifications they get. You know, empowering people with the facts or will allow them to decide themselves how they want to cut back.
Tell me about your own tech habits.
Yeah,
What'd you learn?
I've been using it, and I have to tell you, I thought I was fairly disciplined about this, and I was wrong. When I began to get the data, I found I was spending a lot more time than I should.
Like where?
And I don't want to give you all the apps, but just too much. And ask themselves, if they're picking up their phone 10 times an hour or 20 times an hour, maybe they could do it less.
It's really interesting because there's this idea who's in control, man or machine. You believe that we as human beings, we can control.
I absolutely do.
It's funny, Tim Cook barely realizing how addictive cell phones are is like a drug dealer barely realizing his drugs are bad. I mean, just imagine being that drug dealer. I didn't know how bad heroin was until I started using it. I think what's funnier about the Tim Cook interview is how he believes people have this great ability to control their cell phone addiction. Last time I checked, addiction isn't easily controlled. That's why it's an addiction. Tim Cook's job is to sell the most overly used phone in the world. That's not my problem with Tim Cook, though. The problem I have with Tim Cook is he thinks we're a bunch of idiots. You can't sit there and say you didn't know how bad cell phone use is when you're the number one used cell phone. Are you saying you don't notice those huge ass lines outside Apple every year, waiting to buy the new iPhone? Like shit, you have a better chance of riding Space Mountain at Disneyland than getting a new iPhone. I mean, imagine being a kid and their mom trying to go to Disneyland. Mommy, can we go to Disneyland? Honey, the lines are too long at Disneyland. Now let's go. I have to wait 3 hours for the new iPhone. I mean, even Donald Trump is more aware of what's going on in the world. I'm Donald Trump, and I know everything. Hashtag fake news. Hashtag lock her up. According to an article published by Time Magazine, phone use may be contagious. People are more likely to use their cell phones when others around them are also using their cell phones. So that suggests there's some sort of domino effect. I mean, it's true. How many times have you been with someone and as they pick up their phone, you come to the conclusion that it was okay for you to use your phone? Overuse of cell phones is becoming like a virus, and we are the infected hosts. Aside from the fact that we have an addiction to overuse of phone, the same article states how using our phones isn't just rude, it also tends to make us unhappy. And I quote, "If they had been on their phone while having a face-to-face interaction, they enjoy the interaction less than people who had been face-to-face with another person without a cell phone," the researchers found. So what you're saying is phones make our interactions with people suck? Wow. Who would have known that paying attention to a tiny screen is far less interesting than having a conversation with the person right in front of you? In the next article of Time Magazine, water is wet. But seriously, cell phone use is a concerning issue that is growing more and more. As people, we need to ask ourselves, is talking through text better than having a real intimate conversation with someone in person? Perhaps we should try putting down the cell phone and start having real relationships with real people.